among the homeless people in Fresno. The homeless in Fresno are some of the most, or the poorest people there are. I have carried out research amongst poor people for the last 5 decades in Ethiopia, Egypt, Kenya, and Brazil, which involved access to health services and also access to safe water and hygiene. Now, here in Fresno, I have now had the opportunity for the first time to help homeless people directly, immediately, by distributing food, which I pick up at various churches which receive food from the food bank. I have registered some 365 homeless people, which constitutes some 20% of all homeless people, estimatedly, in Fresno. And these are homeless people, not people in shelters, but who sleep in the streets. So the most unfortunate, the most depressed people. Now, what are some of the problems they face in accessing food? Well, first of all, they are out there not having enough information to obtain food, not having transportation, being discriminated against, they tell me. Some of them don't go to churches to pick up food for that reason. Fewer than half obtain food stamps, partly because they lost their ID or the ID was stolen in the streets by other homeless people or by the police. We have some of the most rigid regulations, ordinances on homeless people in California, here in Fresno. And many of them go to dumpsters and trash cans to get food. Others don't, being aware of the health risk involved in getting food from dumpsters. But they recycle. Many of them recycle. About a third of all homeless people told me they recycle, making about $5 to $15 a day, which is a major source of income for food. Many of them go to churches where the food bank distributes food. Others don't go because they are too far. They have no information about where the churches, or which churches distribute foods, or they feel discriminated against, not worthy going to churches. Other people get food from relatives. One of my questions asks, do you have relatives in Fresno, and do they bring you food? Some do, some don't. Some of them are completely isolated, not in contact with their relatives, because they're out of town, they have cut social relations, or they have no cell phones, or their cell phones cannot be uploaded. They have no chance to upload their cell phones to stay in contact. Now, another question was about the acceptability, suitability of the food they get. Many ethnic people did not like the food distributed at the food banks because they don't distribute tortillas, etc. there. A question about health, about the health situation, also important. More than half of them said they were either depressed, experienced anxiety, or anger at their situation, or at society, or at the institutions where they try to get housing or food. One institution, Poverello House, distributes food three times a day, 3 meals a day. Many people don't go there, consider the place to be too dangerous. A number of them were attacked there. Others, again, had no transportation to go there. So, social isolation, geographical isolation, not being able to move around, are major problems they are facing. Social relations are very important. Elizabeth reminded me, when it comes to suicide, several people expressed thoughts of suicide. And of course, then by extension, the various other forms of mental illness, as I mentioned already. So the homeless people are experiencing a number of issues that keep them from getting food and living in insecure places overnight. One question I asked, and which has not been asked in the literature I reviewed, is where did you sleep last night? And how many nights did you sleep there? Which gives me data on the mobility, or by extension, the harassment by police, and the search for safe places. Most people stayed 2 to 5 days in the same spot, moving from one place to another. And that, again, contributes to the inaccessibility of food. So I'm still analyzing my data now. It's a big task to analyze 360 the questionnaires, but I hope to come up with a report before long. And also, not to forget, I want to thank the ladies at the church here preparing the food, because the rest of the food I took to homeless people, which very much appreciate that these meals, they never get meals. So that was a great surprise and a great joy for them. Thank you.